I can do that.
Ours is so low that I finally read all this morning because I can understand.
Come on, open up, stupid.
In the morning, like when I'm done before I take showers. Yeah. And pressure tank kicks off every 5 minutes.
My cursor.
Oh, no.
Try to move this thing.
Hold on.
I didn't go on it now.
Okay.
So let me show you really quick. So I printed this out. This is the public hearing. So I printed it so you don't have to flip through.
Okay.
I printed this out so that I marked where you guys could consider agendas. Like, okay, you're all three if you want to at the same time. And then we had to
Losing a lot of business is transpired.
because it wasn't, it was just signed by the manager.
Stacks up.
So we got that, and then we added the
I don't hold meetings on Memorial Day. We did that once. We about got shot.
No, that's not worth any shot over. I don't think.
Oh. If anybody else didn't know this, these are supposed to be in 30 days ahead of
I know,
schedule.
I noticed
And
that.
that's,
I noticed that. I wanted, they have
so
done
it's
it
a
before.
choice we can make whether or not we allow it.
And have they done this 2 years before?
Yes, and
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
commented on it before.
Numerous times.
Yes,
More than
because-
just them, there's been a lot of them.
The only thing I will say about that is that we skipped a council meeting. So,
That's 2 weeks. We're talking.
right. I just
Yeah.
to say, we did skip a council meeting.
Yeah, I saw it too. Jeez, not again.
Anybody know where Roy's at?
He
No, he's
hasn't-
not going to be here.
He's on a cruise, isn't he?
Boy, is off far away in Alaska.
County,
County Wales.
I thought he was on a cruise.
He is. He's County Wales. Who's she?
Went on Wales. I thought he was going
I doubt it.
south.
Quite one of the world.
No, I thought, well, and I don't know, I thought he was going for Mexico. I don't keep track of his
I think they
schedule.
were going through the Caribbean.
That's what I thought,
I
but
think they're going south.
Somewhere Roy is out there doing something.
something a lot more fun than
Bless his heart. We just hope he comes back.
Email the practice.
I thought that was
not
such a
filled out.
lovely
It's
thing
not
to do
filled
when
out.
I graduated from high school.
So she
Take
comes
a
right
big
back.
family trip. It'd be a really nice, happy
open it.
memory for the family.
I don't know what she was doing.
It was very close family.
Finally, when she told me about it,
yeah.
When the daughter was
Yeah,
in
and
school.
it's a
it's not signed.
hard time in your life when your
Anyway,
kids
anyway,
start scattering.
That's right.
Yeah, it's never the same.
The first one, oh my God, it was fine. It was a little more flexible with the second one. It's still just, you just know your life will never be the same.
Yeah.
Thought maybe my computer was doing something wrong. It was working now. And I never did speed it up. After a while,
Actually, she's coming back. Get out. She looks dead up at the top. That's what we have. We're gonna go with trying to feed it, and there's up there.
Oh, it hasn't gone away.
There was a tree over by the church.
You'll have it for months.
Stuff that we started feeding. Feel better. I just about 5 years now. It's
I'm
gone.
going to go ahead and call the public hearing to order for a conditional use permit for Craig and Sue Dills. Is there any public comment? Come up to the podium.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Getz. Most of you know me. I work for the Senior Center. As far as their conditional use permit, I'm all for it because we're actually the ones that were looking at the lot. We've been here for 15 years. We decided to sell our house due to all of the solar and wind farm stuff. So we actually live in a fifth wheel. So the lot's great, but here's my other concern. I don't know all what has transpired, but there's a lot of elderly people that are looking to look at, or are living in fifth wheels as well because they can't afford the taxes on their house. The house is too big. They have, medical conditions, and they've lost everything. It happens. I see it all the time. I see dads or moms that are like getting divorced and they need a little extra space for the kids, but they're living in a fifth wheel. So hopefully you guys can see that it's not a bad thing, and most of us are spending quite a bit of money on our fifth wheels. They're basically, we're spending what a house cost in 2018 or 19. So I just hope that you understand that it's not a bad thing as long as they have done their due diligence. It's really, I don't understand why it's such a bad thing. And a lot of kids can't even afford to pay rent on a house, but they can sure afford to go get a small trailer and live in it. Rent right now is just for here in Glen Rock. Right now, my kids are paying over $1,000 a month. And it takes 2 of them to pay the rent, and they're barely making it. So hopefully you can see that this really isn't a bad thing. I get that there's different RV parks. I get that there's spaces, but sometimes we all need a little extra room. So hopefully me saying this helps a little bit, and hopefully you guys think outside the box a little bit, because with power comes great responsibility, and you have to look at all sides of the box.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any more public comments this evening? Not hearing or seeing anybody else wanting to get up there, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll open the council meeting for this evening. Would you please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody's in attendance and Roy's excused. Is there any additions or deletions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the May 12, 2025 council meeting and the June 2nd, 2025 work session minutes?
I move we approve, come here you, I move we approve the May 12th council meeting and the June 2nd work session minutes as presented.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Moving on to reports, Councilwoman Collins.
Thank you. On May 26th, which was Memorial Day, I attended the memorial ceremony at the cemetery, and as usual, it was a very beautiful service. I wanted to applaud the American Legion Post and their auxiliary for everything that they did to prepare the cemetery, and they brought food for a reception afterwards, which was held at the new Columbarium. And it was nice to be able to go down there and look at that new addition to the cemetery. I also went to, I think it was about the 28th, I went to a meeting in reference to the Veterans Park. That group is hoping to have the names of local veterans, anybody who's a veteran who has resided in the 82637 zip code can have their name put on the stone pillars. And what they need are the names and verifications either by a DD 214 or a 13038 form from the feds. They would like to have it by July 1st, but they will still be accepting names after that. They were talking to a gentleman from the Veterans Administration Assistance, and they're hoping to have the bus come down here maybe twice, once during Deer Creek days, and they'll set up and people will be able to go into the bus and they'll be able to help them access the necessary information.
Has he been to did he go to the senior center once already?
They talked about it. I didn't get a confirmation.
I think he showed up.
Okay.
I heard that he showed up
He
once
wanted
so
to
far.
do that once then and then once after the parade, perhaps. So that will be a big help to people
them,
that
yes.
need that. And they will be selling bricks. I believe they're $500 bricks that'll go along the wall. There is no cost to have the names of the veterans put on the pillars. But if you want to support them by purchasing a brick to either honor other veterans from outside of our area or to show support, they're $500. There's 3 lines on them with 11 characters per line, so you can put on there whatever appropriately you would like to put on there.
Maybe.
Yeah, as long as it's... Then we went to the library for their welcome to summer. It was a real good time. They have a great bubble machine there this year. They also had face painting, a cotton candy machine, shaved ice machine. Chad Lohr provided the entertainment from 5 to 7, and the Lions Club did their infamous burgers, which were really yummy. So thank you to everybody for that. Then I wanted to talk briefly about through our school resource officer and that program, there is a camp going on this week, and it's called Camp Postcard, which stands for Police Officers Striving to Create and Reinforce Dreams. This is the first year, as I understand it, that kids from Glen Rock they have gone before?
Second year.
Okay, so the second year. Okay, and 4 6th graders, 2 boys and 2 girls, left this last Sunday to go up to the Allen H. Stewart Lions Club camp up on Casper Mountain. So they'll be up there until Friday. It sounds like they're going to have a really good time and enjoy themselves. The focus of the camp is to build confidence and leadership skills. And they will be returning this coming Friday, so maybe we'll have a report on how that went later on.
Is there a cost for that camp?
No.
Any child is free to
They
the
have
age
only
limit?
4, well, as I understand it, they're 6th graders, and 4 are chosen by the resource officer, and I'm not sure what the criteria was
So just
for that.
but just 4 from our community.
Only 4 came from
Well, that's-
Glen Rock.
Okay.
And Douglas had some, I don't know how many, and they all went up in a bus
There was
together.
a total of 8 from Commerce County, so Douglas.
Well, that's not very many. Okay. So we did okay to get 4.
Oh, yeah. And I thought it sounded like a great thing and a lot of fun for the kids. So far, only 1 dislocated finger.
Not bad.
No, he survived and is still up there, so.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Councilwoman Nunn.
Last year, we got a few odds and ends here. Judy is correct. The memorial service was very beautiful. And I think we also need to acknowledge and give thanks to Mr. Gilbert, our sexton at the cemetery, for creating such a beautiful and peaceful condition for a local cemetery. Concerning the columbariums, they were very interesting to look at. And if you are interested in one, if they want a 12 by 5 by 12 by 5 by 14, they cost $500, and that will hold 2 urns. And if you want one that will hold 4 urns, it will cost you $600. I think that we're very fortunate to have this option in Glen Rock if you want to take advantage of it. And one other thing that they passed out at Veterans Day was that June 12th is Women's Veterans Day. If you are a woman veteran or know of one in Glen Rock, I would like you to contact me. 2 quilts have been donated for a drawing that day. Flags will be flying in the flower pots on Birch Street to honor our courageous women. My name is Bonnie Bartels, and she has a phone number, so if you know a woman veteran and you are interested in having her get in touch with this, I've got the phone number if you want to get it. But it was a nice ceremony. And then the Solid Waste District had their meeting. We're still working on our budget. We have included $100,000 in our budget for a water truck and $20,000 for land development in the garden area of the Greens Department. We're hoping to develop an area of land up there with possibly an orchard with some rather large trees that you can actually see sticking out of the ground, or a grape arbor, and even possibly an underground garden, greenhouse, that could extend the growing season of food up there, which would just make more free food more available for our people. They currently have potatoes, asparagus, raspberry bushes, a row of fruit trees, with planting continuing from the greenhouse. Last Thursday, the Boys and Girls Club brought the children to the garden to plant the Three Sisters Garden. This is a garden reflecting pioneer gardening early in our area. The garden has 3 large connected beds, one for squash, one for corn, and one for beans. The Three Sisters of survival crops for early pioneer families. There is also planned a flower for seniors garden, including a planting area to honor the indigenous people living in the area. A most well-attended, interesting garden with much free food for our community. Take time to check out this program. We would thought that who would have thought that such a desolated-looking area could ever have become a source of food for our community. So they're continuing to work up there to give us free food. And then on the veterans thing, to kind of reinforce what Judy said, if you want a brick, if you want one of those a block, this is what it'll look like. That's approximately the size of it. It will cost you $500, and that's how much space you have to get your message on there. And this has absolutely nothing to do with having a veteran's name on the columns. This is strictly a money-making thing. You can honor a veteran, you can honor a non-veteran, you can honor a child, you can put your business name up there if you want to, as long as it fits in this space. It is one of the money-making projects they're working on. They also have a donors program that includes a Circle of Honor sponsor for $5,000, a patron sponsor for $250,000, 2 of those are available, platinum sponsor $50,000, 8 available, gold sponsor $10, silver sponsor $5, And these are all available if you are interested in donating to the park on any of those areas. Now, they said that to get this information, all you needed to do was go online. Well, I finally got it figured out, believe it or not. And this is what you will get if you go online. This is the official application. They have a veteran's name put on there. And there's not much to it, name, date of birth, branch of service, but you have to be able to upload your DD-214 form and then either check whether you are submitting this for yourself or for a friend and get it to the people down at the park. My suggestion, if you want to get a veteran's name down there, is to get in touch with the Veterans Memorial or Mobile Unit when they come down to Glen Rock. That person that runs that unit is very, very informed on how to get this information so we can get those names on there. Because there are people that they don't have this form. Records were wiped out at a fire at one time, but they could help you get a name on there. The biggest concern is we want to make sure that all of our veterans have a chance to have their name put on that wall so that we can honor and respect them for what they have done to serve our community. So please help these girls get as many of these sold as you can, strictly separate from just getting a name up there, and to get a name of any veteran you know that has lived at 82637 zip code. And that would include Glen Rock or Rolling Hills. That's the qualifications, basically. And then, one more quick thing, Bruce, I'm done. Hold your breath. Saturday in Glen Rock, there was a town hall meeting down at the middle school concerning the development of the Pronghorn project up here. And the Secretary of State, Chuck Gray, came up. He was the featured speaker. Probably about 100 people were in attendance, including several from out of state and various parts of the state. Several persons expressed interesting thoughts on the project. Basically, the things I took away from the project was, number one, the Pronghorn project is not a wind farm only project. It is a project to construct a working hydrogen plant that needs water and electricity to convert water into hydrogen gas. The project is being developed by a company from Spain and will be driven by subsidies from the federal government. The plan for a source of electricity is the wind farm, and the source of water will basically come from the North Platte River by buying up existing water rights and developing deep wells. Number two, and this is a very great concern, I think, there appears to be no built-in reclamation plan, which means, should the plan go bankrupt, Converse County will have to get to clean up the physical mess left behind. Number three, their 10-year lease has been approved by the SLIB board, and the next step in permitting is to go...
45-year lease.
Oh, is it 40? Oh, my God, I got 10 years, 45 years.
45-year
Oh,
lease.
sorry about that. They're 45-year lease. And the next step in permitting will go through the Converse County Commissioners. The figures, number 4, and this is very interesting, there was quite a big discussion about this. The figures being presented for actual tax revenue and actual long-term jobs are not necessarily based on actual knowledge, but more on projected estimates. So we want to be kind of careful when we look at those. And number 5, across the state of Wyoming, people are watching to see how this project shakes out, as Wyoming could be up for grabs for this kind of land development. A closing thought is, no water, no town. Do we actually have enough solid knowledge to know that the potential effect on our source of underground water will not be dangerous? So, something interesting to watch. There's some good, there's some not so good, but we need to know what's going on, to be aware of it, and to kind of be keeping an eye on what's going on up there. Thank you.
Just to further bring that along, I have attended the original SLIB board meeting in Cheyenne, and I spoke on the water problems with this project, the use of either water from the river, that's their plan A, if they can buy water resources. Their second plan is drilling wells. They say that they won't drill into our water service, but our water elevate, the Casper Formation, but that doesn't say they won't. They also don't talk about the amount of water they need to wash and clean their solar farm that they're going to build in conjunction with this if it gets built. It's not a wind farm and solar farm, it's a hydrogen project. They need green energy to produce it to make it green hydrogen. So I spoke at that to the governor and the SLIB board and got quite a bit of attention drawn on the fact that it can and could possibly be a detriment to the town of Glen Rock's water source. And the project in Niobrara County can affect the city, the town of Lusk and the surrounding ranchers in the water down there. So there's real concern has come up about this across the state. We have state representatives from Natrona County, Converse County, Niobrara County, Goshen County. We've been getting responses back from our federal government representatives, and this is the biggest push I've ever seen to finally put an end to green energy being shoved in our face here in Converse County and in Niobrara County and the rest of the state. So, but if the SLIB board's going to lease state land for 45 years and they can do it in these two counties, doesn't mean they won't do it to every other county in the state of Wyoming. So that's just to further bring up what went on and what we've been doing. I've been to the SLIB board, I've been to the Niobrara County town hall meeting, and I attended this one up here the other day. But our biggest concern for the town right now is our source of water and possible detriment to it. So.
And Bruce, another thing they did point out that should this be successful in obtaining water from the North Platte River, no river in the state of Wyoming is exempt from having the same thing happen to them. And if agriculture interests sell their water rights to something like this, their agriculture land is not going to be worth a lot of money. No water, no crops. Just like if Glen Rock has no water, no town. The water issue is very critical. I think we really need to watch that.
That's what I've been following and trying to speak on. So hopefully they've got petitions out all over here in the area, and they're pushing to get those done. So if this finally comes to the permit process, the first part of the permit process is to our county commissioners, and it's time to make sure that they listen to what the people in Converse County have to say about this project. But that's all I've got to say about that right now, so I'll move on to Councilman Delgren.
So to go off of that some more, so initially this H2 project, or whatever we're going to call it, from what I believe of it, we're talking about a 45-year lease up on top of the mountain for the wind farm side of it. Right?
The wind farm's on the face of the mountain, right out, on the state land on the VR,
on the VR up there.
Yeah.
But then the hydrogen plant itself is going to be down off of the Bixby ish area.
It'll be down supposedly next to the river, and the solar farm will be on the Bixby also.
Bixby down there. So it's not like they're going to be supposedly drilling water on the mountain, but we really don't know that because they haven't really said.
Because their plan B is drill water. They won't commit to where or what. They've discussed Madison Formation water and a few other things, but. The biggest thing that happens with these projects is most of them get started, if they get started, and they turn around and sell them. And whoever buys the rights or the project does not have to follow the recommendations of the state lease or anything else. They're on their own.
And that's the point I was trying to make, is that initially the hydrogen plant itself is supposed to be down by Bixby somewhere. But that doesn't mean that that's the only place they're going to look for water.
Correct. They're gonna have to draw water there just for their solar farm.
Anyway,
so whether they can.
This is a big thing, and everybody's looking at the county commissioners as if they can stop this, and technically they can't legally stop it because we don't have zoning in the county, but they can make recommendations to the industrial siting committee not to allow it.
If they vote no on their permit, that usually stops it going to the ISC.
It can still be overturned, but that's a touchy situation coming forward, and I hope it doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't either. It's going to be
the fact that they have no reclamation plan should be very scary too. They go bankrupt, and there could be a real mess left up there that someone's going to have to clean up, and it could be very expensive to clean up.
All the rest of the solar farms we have now are under the same stipulations on reclamation. It's very little responsibility of the owners.
Anyway, the only other thing I report-wise, I did the library thing. That was a great kickoff to summer event. Last year it was like 109 degrees for that evening. It was a very pleasant evening for a change. The year before it was raining, so it was a really great evening. I used the town park on Saturday for a personal event. Looks nice down there. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Town park was busy Saturday.
Yep. Saturday evening it looked really busy.
Yes.
Tammy, clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just to let you know, I took the class for it's an LPA certification. It's called local, oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it stands for. Public agency, licensed public agency. It is so that we can apply for federal grants. It was required that somebody take it if we were interested in doing a TAP grant for the pathway. And I believe Randy held the old certification, so I went and did that. I actually just received the certificate today. I've been working on liquor license renewals. We're coming up on that, and it's the time of year to kind of update all of our salaries and our benefit, for our benefit groups. I will be attending some SHRM training, which is the HR side, in San Diego, June 28th through July 2nd. And then just a reminder that our next work session is July 7th at 5 o'clock. That's all I have.
Kelly, treasurer.
Excuse me, evening, Mayor and Council. Sales tax came in, it did decline a little bit. Not really shocking. Honestly, we did get our royalties payment and also our severance tax payment. They came in this week. Well, actually, late last week. Just been working on budget and getting everything hopefully in line so we can start the new fiscal.
John, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to let you know that we did take possession of the new sewer truck that we had ordered last fall. It's pretty nice. Thank you for that. Also, we've been working on the parks, trying to get them mowed. It's that time of year, and get everything up and running. Any sprinkler systems. We worked with Crown to have them come over and work some dirt over there at the memorial. I think that's pretty well taken care of for now.
I have a couple of questions on that, but I'll ask you that about
Ray
part
might
of
have to have some answers into that, but.
Yep.
And then other than that, I have one little problem at the lagoon that I've been fighting. I've been working with our engineers on that, which hopefully we can resolve without too much money. That's what I'm hoping. But I've been doing a lot of research on that, and I am working with him on a solution. So other than that, that's about all I have.
What's the general problem, John?
We have a bulge in in the cell one that we're not sure what it was, and when that new cover was put on, there was no inspection doors put into it. So now I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Sounds like fun.
It isn't.
Bulges are never good.
Not out in the middle of one of those ponds, it's not.
Own bodies.
This isn't inappropriate to tell you what it really is.
We got it.
Lyle, building inspector.
Evening, Mayor and Council. 42 building permits to date. Compliance, starting to focus on weeds and tall grass. A lot of people have done pretty well. High school cleanup got canceled due to a track meet, so that short list I had didn't happen, but a lot of those people have cleaned up. Been working with Kim Martin with the District Days, the games. Just wanted to get it out there that we really need to, young adults and teens, high schoolers that could be on a team of 10. You need 6 girls and 6 guys, and it's going to be a blast. And ECI is went over the top helping Kim out, building monkey bars and an obstacle course. It's going to be awesome. So we need to get the kids out there, and it would be a great time for them. They may not know it until they get into it, but it's fun.
They don't know it, but they're going to like it.
They're going to like it.
And they're going to
Beat 'em
have
to death.
fun, or else.
Now, Lyle, I don't understand this. You need teams of 10,
Yeah,
and you want 6 girls and 6
Well-
boys? That's 12.
that is. So you have one alternate. On
Oh,
each side,
okay.
In case
In case someone doesn't
sick
show
or
up.
something like that, yeah. So it's a lot of fun. So just a young
Dislocated
word out there.
fingers.
Oh,
That's that
okay.
new younger Matt.
Oh, I see. Those-
Yeah. So I'm going to be attending WHAM Wednesday through Friday. One of the subjects is federal grants in the Dozier, and I think that might be interesting to look at. And then there's a modernization in regulatory reductions for planning. And city planner of Cheyenne and Riverton's administrators putting that on, so that might be pretty interesting. I had a Zoom meeting with the mayor and the DEQ, Cindy Martinez, and that was a pretty interesting meeting. They're going to make us spend $550 to join the voluntary remediation program.
They force you to join a voluntary remediation.
They force you to, and then they're going to give us a grant for $30,000. So I'm thinking
Oh,
it's a
good investment.
trade.
We thought it wasn't a bad investment
Yeah.
for $525.
So that'll be for the Lincoln building to get rid of that asbestos. They're also going to develop a roadway map for us on the Haleon building, Lincoln building, to figure out what's the right path. Tear it down, do this, do that. They're going to give us options. So, okay, that's going to happen. So that'll help us maybe pick the right path. The hospital board's supposed to be, they're getting an assessment or an appraisal done on the land for out there by the Rock and the Glen. That appraiser called me this last week asking me questions, not knowing that I'm part of this game. And so anyway, I told her, and so that appraisal should be back mid-month. So we might be hearing from the next time the hospital board meets, we might hear back from them. So that's good. They're also, this DEQ is going to do a phase 1 evaluation of the site, meaning that if there's a nuclear plant that was there and there's some kind of waste, we're held harmless. So that's a good thing. They're going to do that for free. And then the cool thing was they put me in contact with this guy named David Land. He's an architect. He was an architect for the Denver Art Museum. He was he worked at the Denver Zoo for 3 years designing the exhibits. Really talented guy. He's worked with museums here in Wyoming. He's going to come up and walk the site with us, and then he's going to give us architectural drawings of maybe where you'd put the museum and develop the walkway paths.
Like a conceptual drawing? Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
actual conceptual drawing and to scale, and
For free.
For
be
free.
pretty cool. A giant leap for us. So
You got all this for $500?
that'll be free.
Oh, but that's part of the package?
So, from the DEQ. So how do you figure that? I
Yeah,
don't
it's,
see how that happens.
it helps Lyle and everybody else that's involved with the 25-year strategic plan, that whole group. Helps them, give them a little more insight of where we go in the next 5, 10, out to 25 years for direction of the town and what we want to do. So we wanted to make sure we were giving them some other stuff and information there, so we keep that group active and working on where we go, what the best plan is.
That's all I got.
Okay. Coulter, Police Chief.
Evening, Mayor and Council. As Councilwoman Calling stated, Officer Pierce is currently up at Camp Postcard this week. It's a very neat thing that we were able to become a part of last year, actually. The SROs over in Douglas actually reached out, and they were also their first year. So we did that together. It was nice. We were offered 8 positions for Converse County as a whole, and maybe a little bit of this and that, right and left, but we got half of those spots. So, like to get our even odds. But anyway, I was hoping to be able to introduce our newest officer, Officer Alexander, tonight. However, he is away at annual drill as he's a member of the National Guard. So hopefully next meeting, if they let him back anyway. Yeah. I'm also going to be attending the WHAM conference this week. One of the things I'm going to be looking at that was interesting, or hopefully to get some information back from, is the effects the new gun-free zone bill is going to have on municipalities. They're having a panel conversation down there, so hoping to go down and be a part of that and bring back something different. But lastly, I have been speaking with the council via email regarding this new position, new officer. I know that maybe right now isn't the time, but I was hoping to maybe at the end of the meeting be able to answer some questions, get some conversation, and check the level of support due to the lengthy process of hiring someone. So maybe I could get that underway if we were in agreement on maybe going forward there.
Coulter, I thought what you mentioned this morning when I visited with you, the possible addition of this dog could be extremely valuable to our community if the dog is trained to go into a building to get a dangerous suspect with a gun out instead of sending an officer in there, and if the dog is trained to be able to take down someone holding a gun that might avoid some shooting. We don't anticipate that, but doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yep.
And I think it's fabulous if we had a dog that could detect fentanyl, because we know it's here. So those things really impress me as being things that this dog could be valuable to protect not only our community, but our police department.
Absolutely.
We bought him that 500-pound bulletproof shield for.
Yeah, 500 pound. That thing
No.
is long.
That's the backup. The dog comes out
Yeah,
dead. You're
yeah.
next.
One moves faster than the other, I can assure you.
One's a lot faster.
Yeah, one's a lot. Yes, true.
So is there something that we need to do for this, or what? I guess I'm questioning what Coulter's asking.
So what I'm looking for, I guess, at this point, I know that there are some conversations that we'd like to have ahead of time, but essentially the applicant that we have is, I think everybody would agree, based on what I provided at this point, a very qualified candidate. But the process of that is quite lengthy when it comes to background checks, interviews, things like that, the process that we have in place. I'd like to see if the council is willing to agree that you would support at least the conversation, so that we could go through the things like, obviously we'd have to create a new policy, new type of dog we've never had before, and then go over different things that, any questions that you have. I mean, I'm trying to answer everything that I can get, but we're just trying to look for that, if the council would agree that
We're
that's
able to
something.
meet with him after the meeting for a little bit so we can have discussions with him there to start with. I am. But just, I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I think there's a lot of questions that'll come up, and that'll help you move forward.
Absolutely, and that's all I'm asking. I know that
Yes.
there's a number of things, and I definitely want everyone's input. That's why I brought it to you in the first place. But that is a disqualifying thing for this particular candidate if that's not something that we're willing to look at. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Mr. Nelson, do you have something from the fire department?
Mayor, council, we don't just kind of wrapping the end of the year up for, budget-wise, but got all of our maintenance done on the frontline trucks. Everything come back good this year. So that's always a plus. Ladder test, didn't have to replace a bunch of ladders and things like that. So right now, just kind of planning, getting ready for 4th of July, our 3rd and 4th of July out at South Rec, and probably be in touch with John and the guys down there. Some new additions down there that we're going to want to probably barricade off or something so we don't have people out where fireworks are landing. But I think it's a pretty cool little pathway back there to have. And then I was going to try and bend the town's attorney's ear real quick after the meeting, if that'd be okay.
Good luck.
Okay. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
I think that's the end of our reports. We'll move on to the next item is items from the floor. Is there any items from the floor this evening?
Evening, Mayor and Council. I would just like to thank Mr. John Hunt for his support.
Funk?
Funk.
For his support with the flags on Memorial Day. It was a great honor to work with the people he's got down there. And I guess I should thank my councilman Nunn, my wife. She helped too. So I didn't, but I wanted to do that publicly so she knows. Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret.
Yeah, thank you.
Carrying the flags.
Thanks, John.
Is there any other items from the floor this evening?
Evening all. I'm just wondering how it works with the bands at Town Square. Friday night, of course, the little storm blew in and blew out, and it doesn't start till 7, is that right? Or is that what time it's supposed to start? So I was just curious, do they still get paid full price, half price? How does it work?
I spoke with Chevy today on that. The bands were the ones that canceled. It wasn't her. They pulled out probably mid-afternoon. I'm not sure. I know they will not be paid.
Okay. I'm just curious because
Normally, if we have to cancel, if we canceled it, we would normally pay them for their, if they were coming, but since those two bands had canceled on us, then like she just said, they're not getting paid, but.
okay. And then something for John. I don't know if he's aware that at Town Park the hand dryer in the men's bathroom doesn't work. I don't know if it's been fixed or not, but there's a couple lights burned out on the walking path. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or either, so I just kind of want to give you a heads up there. So, all right, thanks. That's all I have.
And the water salesman needs to be recalibrated. When you put a quarter in there, you don't get your quarter.
We're getting a new
It won't be
water
long.
system.
The new one will be in place.
It should be much improved.
That project
like
is
it.
coming along really well, so.
Yeah.
Come up, ladies.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Jennifer Cloward. I'm representing Laramie Peak Humane Society. I was talking with Tammy a little bit about the request for funding that we had put through. I know budget's coming up, and I just wanted to make an appearance and kind of talk to you about how we feel like we do provide a service to the town of Glen Rock. I ran some numbers. Just in May, we took in 11 cats and 1 dog from Glen Rock. So that was 29% of our intakes for the whole month of May. That was only 1 month. It was a little higher than normal, but overall we do have a lot of residents that reach out to us for different things, whether it's surrenders or found animals that they've found. I have had several conversations with Animal Control Stewart here in town. He's amazing, and he did tell me that, you know, he's been funded and it's been helping him out do his, like, the job that he needs to do here. So I wouldn't want to take away from any of that funding that you have allocated for him. But currently we were just asking for a little help from you guys to kind of offset the services that we feel like we do provide. We have a wait list of intakes because we are full currently, and we have 5 on the wait list to take in dogs, and 2 of those are from Glen Rock. So that is another kind of point that I wanted to make. We love coming to all of the events that Glen Rock holds. We like talking with the community members and educating them on possible ways that we could assist if there's any issues that arise with animal welfare. With Love Local, Wild West Fest, they were one of our favorites that we came to. Deer Creek Days, we're going to make a presence for Deer Creek Days just to show our face and, you know, kind of bring some animals and maybe get some adopted. And then that's pretty much all. I just wanted to make sure that I put my word out there that we do offer some services to the town of Glen Rock.
Where does most of your funding come through?
So we get funding from Converse County Commissioners. So we do aid to others. We apply for aid to others every year. The county commissioners, they provide the building. So then we run our organization out of their building. And then they fund us $25,000. And then the city of Douglas, they're our biggest contributor. They fund us $110,000. $10,000 goes to spay and neuter vouchers that we offer to help the public spay or neuter their pets. So it's a discounted rate. That way we don't have overpopulation of animals. So some of that $10,000 goes to help with vouchers, and then some of the $10,000 goes for TNRs, for feral cat colonies. Basically the wild cats that people feed that aren't really owned by anybody but cause issues throughout different towns, cities. So that's where some of that money goes. Rolling Hills funds us $5,000 for the same thing, for a TNR and spay and neuter voucher funding. So we'll We'll perform TNRs, we'll go out, trap the cats, get them fixed, vaccinated, and then return them back. But then they're not repopulating. And then a lot of our funding comes from donations. Our budget every year, I think I brought the budget, it's close to $300,000, our expenses. And so the remainder of our funding comes either from fundraisers that we do or from donations from the public. And then a little bit comes from shelter income as far as when we charge a fee for adoptions and impounds.
So when your new building is done, how many animals can you accommodate?
So it'll double our capacity. We'll have room for 30 dogs. Right now we have room for 14 dogs. The cats we're not going to double because doubling 40 cats, we have the room for 40 cats at our current building. So we're going to move that up to 60. We'll have room for 60 cats in the new building. And the county will own it and we will just run it.
So what happens to dog number 31?
We hold dogs until they get adopted. We are a no-kill shelter.
But if you have more dogs, what do you do with them? Just say you're on your waiting list? Good luck.
So we have had to make a waiting list for people. We do some police holds for the city of Douglas. So that's kind of where the conversation of is our building was too small to accommodate. We had 25 police holds at one time that we were fostering out. So we do utilize fosters. We are trying to get a good foster base. So when we do have max capacity, we would have people to reach out to and say, hey, could you foster this animal until room's available at the shelter?
So if you have 30 dogs, I'm just kind of curious about this.
Oh, it's okay.
Does Glen Rock know that they might be able to always have at least, say, 5 spots that they could put a dog in, or if you become full, or you just doors shut, good luck?
My hope for the new building is we don't fill it up right away. The new building was planned to provide enough space for the next 50 years. So I'm hoping that the space isn't filled up right away. We do have space open for the Douglas Police Department, and that would absolutely be something that we could discuss further and have openings for you guys. I know you have 5 kennels at 6 kennels.
5 dogs, 1 cat.
5 dogs, 1 cat here in town, which we took one of the dogs that had been there for a little while that nobody had claimed, and she's currently at our shelter, and she's amazing. But any conversation that we would need to have to accommodate you guys for animal welfare when the new building comes, we would be greatly appreciative of conversation.
Oh. Well, we appreciate you coming up and talking to us.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
lot of information we didn't know about.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have any other questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And just for you guys' knowledge, we did get some money. It's coming from the Dutchman project to add an addition onto our building. It's probably gives us about half as much more again. It was one of the funding that we asked for impact funds for. So expand ours just a little bit too.
I think we're okay with dogs.
Depends on the time. Once in a while, there's none out there, and other times, Stuart has it full. Okay, if there's no other reports, we'll move. Oh, okay, didn't see any.
Yes, sir. My name is KJ Bickford with Wyoming Central Bait, and we're doing that event out at South Rec, and I was told that y'all had some questions for me.
We'll probably have some questions for you when those permits and stuff come up. I don't know if anybody's got any questions right now about that's your Hog Fest.
Well, it's Battle of the Bands this year. It's an all-ages event, which I was told.
Is that that's during your Hog Fest? Is it not?
It's the same dates.
But you've changed it. Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
So what's that mean?
Battle of the
What are you going to do?
We're just going to have a bunch of bands out there play, and then they'll compete for a winning prize for the most part. But
Do you have any idea how many bands you're going to have coming in?
hopefully 14 to 16 over the 3 days.
How late are they going to play?
Probably 11, depending on time slots. And each band is going to play from 45 minutes to 2 hours. They're going to have that set.
Are you going to set a limit on the time?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
2
when
hours
it's
set time.
done, it's done.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I think y'all's biggest question was what I was told or whatever was how we was going to ID at the gates, because this is an all ages thing.
So Actually, if we follow the agenda, we've got 2 items, and then you're on the agenda right after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So we've got 2 quick things, and then all of this will come up.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
look at your application.
Okay, moving on to old business. Let me get to it. First order of business is ordinance 754, an ordinance appropriating money of the town of Glen Rock, Converse County, Wyoming for the purposes necessary to conduct the municipal government for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. This is our second reading on the 9th day of June, 2025. Is there a motion?
I move we approve ordinance 754 on second reading.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Has there been any changes?
I did make changes from when we had our work session. I didn't highlight them, but everything's been addressed.
Okay.
That was a really nice summary you sent out, too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Next order of business is ordinance number 755, Planning and Zoning Commission Amendment, an ordinance to amend the Glen Rock Municipal Code, Chapter 2, Section 2.45.020 to reduce the number of members of the Planning and Zoning Commission from 7 to 5, and this is on second reading. Is there a motion?
I move we approve ordinance number 755 on the second reading as presented.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
One question, Lyle. How are you going to get rid of your 2 members that you don't need anymore?
They're already down.
They're gone, so you're down to 5 now? And you have 5? Good.
Hearing no other discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries.
Now you're up.
Moving on to new business is South Rec blanket event application for Wyoming Central Bait, marked as food trucks, and on July 25th, 26th, 27th, Battle of the Bands, 500 to 700 people. Have a map of their area that they're going to hold their event in. Do we want to bring both of them up at one time, or do we want to split them out?
And there's a open container permit attached to that as well.
There's an open container permit. I believe that's what goes with that. And then there's another. There's their 24-hour catering permit is separate. So
we should have the open container permit and their event.
And their event are together for having open container in the area of their Battle of the Bands. So is there a motion?
I move that we accept and approve this South Rec event, Battle of the Bands, with the open container permit as presented.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Now, any discussion? Any questions?
But what kind of bands are you going to have? Anything that scrapes off the wall?
It'll be a little bit of everything. At this point, it's mostly rock and roll, but I'm hoping to kind of get some country.
Have you ever been to one of these events where they've had a Battle of the Bands?
Yes, ma'am. We actually did one a few years ago, and it went over really good. I've done them all over the country and stuff, though.
They're pretty exciting and pretty. People like that type of thing.
Yes, ma'am. We're trying to get kind of the kids involved, the younger community and things of that nature. There's going to be a lot of high school kids out there playing, and even younger than that, that's going to just play like solo just as time fillers and things of that nature. And we're going to have stuff for the kids as far as like bouncy houses and slip and slides and things of that nature, you know, just to keep all the kids busy and stuff like that. So I was told that y'all had, because we're not actually serving any alcohol ourselves, we're not having a bar or anything like that out there this year. Is It's not a hog fest. So we're going to ID everybody at the gate, and anybody under 21 is going to get a different color wristband. And that's just kind of how we're going to do that. We ourselves aren't serving any alcohol. There's not going to be any bar out there or anything like that, like there is for Hog Fest. So
That sounds very exciting.
hope so. Hope it goes over really good. Like I said, trying to bring kind of the kids community into it, stuff like that. Get them interested in some of the things that we do. We're trying to do more stuff for the community ourselves, trying to bring the bait back to what we think it should be.
So with the Deer Creek Parade coming up, are you going to put together a float with a real jazzy band to advertise this event?
Right? That'd be a good idea. Normally we just ride, our motorcycles through the parade and stuff like that, but that is a good idea.
You can't hear the band or the motorcycles, Margaret.
Oh, sure you can. If you get the right kind of band, you can drown them out.
That's a fact. Yes, ma'am.
So for the alcohol, then that's going to be what the people bring out
Yes,
there
ma'am.
to drink, and are they going to be able to wander around with it?
Yes, ma'am. In the event area. So pretty
You're allowing people to bring alcohol in on their own.
That's why they have the open container.
Which is what the open container permit's for.
But in the past, you've had, like the Markham Douglas Circle, and not selling out there, and you're not having that this year?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever we do Hog Fest, Hog Fest is more of a bike rally type of thing, and it's 21 or over. So it's we don't allow anybody that's less than 21 in for Hog Fest, but this is an all ages event, so we're not going to be selling any alcohol or anything like that.
So this is different than Hog Fest?
Yes, ma'am. Yep, this is just this is kind of more of a music festival than it is a bike rally.
So Hog Fest is still happening?
No, well, next year.
Okay.
But we put brakes on it for 1 year.
Same age group of people, different process this year. Same name, different process.
Yeah, just a different type of event.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries.
Is there another permit that we had to?
No, this next one's for Deer Creek Day. Sorry.
Thank you.
Next order of business is an application for Deer Creek Days from 6/27 to 25 through just that day. There are 4 aces. I believe the contact person is Billy Sons. They are the manager. Okay, and it's to have a side bar outside, is my understanding.
Yes, in the parking lot area over to the side.
Okay. Before we discuss any more on it, is there a motion to approve a malt beverage permit for Deer Creek Days for the 4 aces?
Catering permit.
Sorry.
Catering.
Catering permit.
I'll make a motion to approve the 24-hour malt beverage catering permit for the 4 aces.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Now, discussion.
It's the same place that always be set up just like normal. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Same people.
There'll be a band, and then there'll also be a beer booth there by beer. Any like mixed drinks will be out inside. Of
From
the bar
inside.
area.
But you'll allow them to come out into your controlled area.
Right. Absolutely.
And you'll have people IDing and carding people just like normal.
So, does this permit cover the sidewalk in front of the aces to get to the parking lot?
Well, I assumed it's open container for the city to have that day. So, I mean, if they carry,
Yeah, we do have an open container, but I'm just, the fact that you're selling hard liquor inside to carry out into your
they carried
permit.
it out last year outside.
Well, we also, on your permit last year, we covered your sidewalk in front of the building to that area.
I didn't sell outside of the bar last year. We sold just beer, not no band or nothing outside of the bar where they'd have to do that.
But normally when you've done that, you've always had the sidewalk down. Well, it has in previous years. I'm just stating that's what we've normally done.
So what do we need to do then? Or do we need to do anything different?
Well, I don't know. We had to send this back this afternoon in a hurry to get signatures of the owners of the Corporation. So the permit was legally filled out. It's also doesn't meet our 30-day ahead of schedule. And we've talked about that in the past. I think that's up to council and a vote on this, but we have told other bars and that if we don't have these in an appropriate amount of time, that eventually we're going to say no to one or all of them at some period.
I think we should put out sort of a general notice that we need to start following
Well,
the
we've
timelines.
been put out by Tammy a couple times, but I think
Well,
we need to
we've
make it
talked
very,
about
I
it,
mean, draw the line in the sand.
For at the end of Deer Creek days.
Yeah. But it's just so everybody knows that needs to be done in an appropriate amount of time.
And this is just for Friday night?
You guys are just doing one day? Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion at this time that we formally move that applications must be received 30 days before, or they will not be considered. So therefore, there will be no arguing, question, or doubt about whether you can or can't. If your application is late, we're not going to consider it. So everyone knows that it has to be here or on a 30-day notice. Well, there's no point in having a 30-day notice.
Margaret, can you add and that it be properly filled out with signatures and
And that the application be correctly filled out on the initial presentation of the application. Was it kind of messy?
It's a long one.
That's a long one. Tammy's gonna
There's a
figure out
motion.
how to type that one.
The motion is on the floor.
Tammy can fix it
Is
up.
there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
I just feel that this makes it formal announcement to all people that this is how our permitting for this type of thing goes, and that all permits will be equally considered, that they must be on a 30-day period. It seems like a fair thing to do.
I think in the past, this has been talked about in the past multiple times when I was on council the last time. And I know that people change that are in certain positions, and I know that she hasn't done this before.
Yeah, she's never been involved with this before, yes.
I think maybe when we do our liquor license renewals, we should formally put something in the liquor license renewal packet, and that would be something to say, moving forward, you have to do this, this, and this, or we're not going to do it to move forward. I would just hate to shoot her down this close to a project.
I just wanted to bring that up because we've put it off we keep putting it off. We've done it for over 12 years.
Yes.
This would be strictly moving forward from this point. And
Yeah.
I think Mr. Delgarn's statement is an extremely valuable one, so that there's no questions, so that everyone knows we're on equal footing with this, and this is how we will expect it to be done, and we're not.
Because we've done this exact same thing multiple times in the two different cycles I've been on council. Is we've never told anybody no. We keep saying we're going to tell you no next time. So
Well, everyone will know this is how it runs, and if we run it like that, it looks like it's fair.
okay, I'm good.
Do we need to vote on her motion?
We have a motion and a second. We've had discussion, so now I will ask for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries.
And this does not affect this year's permitting at all. This is from here on forth, from here forth.
When, like Russ said, let's send it out with the liquor license applications. If they don't have it in 30 days ahead of time, it will not come before council because it won't be considered. Our next order of business is a conditional use permit for Craig and Sue Dills for the address of 202 North 4th Street, Block 3 of the Jones subdivision, Lot 25. Park at 2024 45-foot fifth wheel trailer on established fenced lot. Each maximum trailer size requirements will be skirted. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve conditional use permit for Sue Dills for 202 North 4th Street.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I will second it for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I was very pleased when we received this paperwork to see that we have honored the people that are currently living down there, and it states very clearly on their conditional permit that, I'm going to find this in.
This doesn't talk about those yet.
We aren't even to those.
So
We're
this
just
is
on
for
this.
her extra lot.
This looks to me like we're opening up a new can of worms. That what is an RV park, we've kind of gone down that street before, and I totally understand the need for this. And maybe we need to be trying to get another park that is strictly an RV park to accommodate people. We had a pretty big discussion about what is an RV park, and I'm not sure that we want to continue down that, Sue.
Well, I've made this presentation before, but I was requested to make this presentation again tonight, so I'm going to go ahead with it, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I would ask you to please consider these thoughts tonight. Times are changing. As technology has progressed with the times, so has terminology for factory-built housing, travel trailers, and mobile homes, manufactured homes, modular homes, RVs, and now tiny homes. These changes, as well as others, have been addressed through zoning changes in the past and will no doubt continue in the future. Since you as a body chose not to address this through zoning, because you separated it from the tiny home zoning that you did go ahead and approve, which RVs basically are tiny homes on wheels, but we are now requesting a conditional use permit to be able to provide a place for someone to live. We followed the procedure in Section 31.05 titled Conditional Use Permits of the Town of Glen Rock Municipal Code. That portion of the code, the intent of it says each zoning district in this ordinance contains certain designated permitted uses available as a matter of right with no approval necessary from the commission or the town. Some of the zoning districts also contain certain conditional uses neither absolutely permitted as right nor prohibited by law, which are compatible with the zoning district. They are privileges in a sense which must be applied for and approved by the commission and the town, which is the planning and zoning and the town, which planning and zoning already approved. The purpose of the conditional use permit is to enable the town to exercise some measure of control over the extent of certain activities which, although desirable in limited numbers, could have a detrimental effect within the district if they are permitted in large numbers. A conditional use permit is an authorization which allows a landowner to use his property in a manner compatible with the zoning district in which it is located, provided he demonstrates compliance with all standards and criteria enumerated in this ordinance and specified by the commission and the town. We followed all of those procedures. As proposed, the RV meets the size and year standard that is required for a mobile home in the district. We have met all of the requirements of applying for a conditional use permit as outlined in 31.05, Conditional Use Permits section of the Town Code. I am concerned with the fact that we have had to turn away, it was 11, and now that we're months later into this, it's now been 23 people who inquired and needed a place to live. And the fact that we are about to enter the 10th month of being denied the use of our property for its designed use, as well as loss of income. I have been doing additional research and believe that if the current Town of Glen Rock Municipal Code is applied, we actually have a right to have an RV in our court without any approval other than applying for the parking permit, as has always been the case in the past. Section 31.03.050 of the Town Code for Zoning, titled Mobile Home Residential, reads, Mobile Home Residential, special use is permitted. The following special uses may be permitted within the mobile home district. Mobile home park, travel trailer and recreational vehicle park, Then it goes on to say mobile home sales and social and recreational center. Special standard for mobile home or recreational parks. Goes on with minimum square footage, maximum building height, minimum setbacks, minimum distance between units. So as I'm looking at this, under these definitions and conditions, the requirements for mobile home parks and travel trailer and RV parks are identical. There's no mention of restroom facilities, restroom requirements. Upon contacting the county and reviewing Section 21 regarding RV parks regulations, that there are no stated requirements for restrooms. We have previously been told we can no longer have an RV in our trailer park because we do not have restroom facilities. I previously requested, have restroom facilities, even though the RVs meet the size and age requirement for mobile homes. I previously requested from the Glen Rock Town Code, I requested in writing the written references you are using to deny us the use of our property for its designed purpose. It is understandable that you would restrict the placement of RVs in other zoned areas of town. The 5 people on the Planning and Zoning Committee believe it to be an acceptable use based on their research and commitment to bettering our community. This type of use has been allowed and permitted in our trailer park for over 30 years without any detriment to the town of Glen Rock. The way people are choosing to live is changing. Whether it's economic-based or value-based, things are changing. Why would we choose to make decisions to turn people away from becoming a part of our community because of this? The retired couple that chooses to make Glen Rock their home and has decided that an RV suits their living needs. The simplification of their estate when they pass is another reason they like RV living. They chose Glen Rock because it's the perfect fit. Small, friendly community, local grocery store, restaurants, doctors, recreation, senior center, and if the need arises, a senior living center. They have a little dog and want a fence and grass and maybe a small garden. All things that even if they could get an RV space in a park, they would not have. The family that chooses Glen Rock as a place they want to raise their family for many of the same reasons as well as the great schools. They have decided that minimal living works for them. A travel trailer fits their needs. It allows mom to stay home with the baby while dad works. They also want a fence, grass, and maybe a swing set for the kids. This has been reinforced by the fact that the lot we are asking for a conditional use permit for has been advertised for rent for over 10 months, and we have received 23 inquiries about renting it, all of which are from people who reside in RVs. The fact that the ordinance allows RV parks in a mobile home zone district that could have 50 to 100 RVs, with the town of Glen Rock having no say about what the RVs look like within the park, it seems reasonable to allow one RV on an established fenced mobile home lot where you have some control. Please consider carefully the reasons and methodologies you are using when you make your decision on this matter. As elected officials trying to make our town the best it can be for the current and future citizens, I trust that you will contemplate these things and consider the fact that all of the constituents that you have listed on as the people that reside around this that don't have a problem with this, they're all voting people as well. They don't have a problem with it. They're the people that are directly affected by this. They're saying they don't have a problem with it. So in the manner of looking at what people feel like, if you're doing zoning to protect property values and you have some control over what's going in there, and the people that are directly affected by this don't feel like it's going to affect their property values, I just ask that you will consider those things. Thank you for listening. And Margaret, I get what you're saying about, well, let's just put in another RV park. Well, another RV park, when you consider the cost of what it's going to cost to put that in, their rent is going to have to be as high as it is down at Deer Creek Park, which is a very nice park, but a lot of people can't afford to park down there because of the cost that they have to recover those things. And again, they don't have their own space.
Well, Sue, we have done 10 years of RVing in many different types of RV parks, and most RVs are extremely beautiful, well kept, and many of them are more valuable than many homes in Glen Rock. My biggest concern would be we don't want to open a door for some of the few that we have seen that you wouldn't want parked next to your doghouse.
But as long as I'm saying that the only thing that I'm considering is something that meets the same, I don't want that in my court either. And I would tell those people, you don't meet the requirements of the town of Glen Rock before we could put anything in there, you know? Everything that I would ever want to put in there has to be through a conditional use permit. I gave you a picture of what wants to go in there, you know, so I guess I understand that you're looking out for people's property values. But if you look around town, you know, this isn't the only place. If you look on Google Maps and you look around what's around us there, you know, I'm not sure one RV is going to make things look worse than the other things that are down there. So
Could make it look better.
it could make it look better. You're exactly right.
And I guess another possible concern I would have, I wouldn't want this to start to be, everyone now thinks that if they own a lot in Glen Rock, they can turn it into an RV parking lot. We don't want to.
But zoning takes care of that. You know, your zoning, you wouldn't have them, just like you said you didn't want tiny homes on your R1 lot on your end of town, so you pushed it all over to the north side. And that's where you allow it, is in mobile home districts on the north side of town. You've got control, you know, and that's where I'm saying is no one's asking to have the control taken away from the town. I'm asking for permission from the town to do this after planning and zoning looked at it and we met all of the requirements, and we're now in the 11th month, you know.
That's not good. But what do the other council members think?
Well, are we done with discussion? You want to vote on it? What do you want to do?
I would like to know what the other council members are thinking. Are you? I can see this going both ways. I see the pros and cons of it both ways.
Well, let's look at this, and it's what I presented way back when about how many lots this could actually even affect on the north side of Glen Rock, and it's a minimal amount. And I guess the other thing that I'll say about it is, and this is what I said from the get-go, this is an established lot. It's had this in the past. I'm not asking for, you know, if some other lot on the north side decided that they wanted to have, I know for the next 3 I got lumped in with the other ones that are not established courts, you know, because that's a whole different thing. But I don't know. I don't think it, based on the number of available places that there is, that you could even put something on the north side of Glen Rock. It's a minimal amount. I think I counted, I have that here. There's like 14, well, let's see right here. 5 current, which now it's 4, and 11 potential. So that would be a total of 16 on the entire north side of Glen Rock. There is 127 houses on the north side of Glen Rock. Even if all 16 of those potentials had RVs on them, it would only be 12% of all of the residences in the mobile home district on the north side of town.
You know, another thing that maybe we need to consider on this, it states here that the Planning Commission has approved this conditional use, and if we are unwilling to accept any type of recommendations from the Planning Commission, why do they exist?
They were a little offended, because I've been before them twice on this because of the way this thing has gone, and they said, why are you here again? We already did our due diligence and we don't have a problem with it. And so there was some offense taken that they felt like they're just, why do we do what we do? And the other thing I asked Lyle is, How many conditional use permit applications have ever been denied in this town? 0. So,
I don't know that that's true.
I've been here 3 years, so.
but I asked you for the history.
I don't know, we don't keep track of that.
Well, okay.
This is a hard vote. I call for the question.
There's no other discussion. I will call for a vote on this conditional use permit. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay.
Nay.
Mayor votes nay.
Where's Roy?
Roy's not
We
here.
need him.
It's a 2-2 vote. It does not pass. Unfortunately,
Is a fail?
yes. A tie vote's a fail. Unless we bring it back and vote when Roy gets here. Unfortunately, he's gone on vacation. But right now, a tie vote in the past has always been a no vote, even in placing and voting on, voting for department heads. A tie vote is a no vote.
Where is that written in the town code?
I don't know where it's written, Sue. I just know the history when I've been here with it. A tie vote is a no vote. It's not in the positive, it's not in the negative. It's a no vote. It stands that way because it wasn't enough of a vote to make it a positive. It's something we can, if you want to make a motion to table it
I move we table this until
or postpone it and bring it wait till Roy
until
gets
Mr.
back.
Kincaid is here and that we take a second vote when we have a full council.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Is that legal to do that?
Yes, we can postpone it.
I just want to make sure we're not.
No, we can postpone it. We can't table it
We can postpone
if you use the word tabled, you have to take care of it before the end of the meeting. You postpone it, we can take it to the next meeting.
Amend motion. We postpone it instead of table it
Postpone until the next meeting.
until the next meeting.
Which would be
And don't either one of you dare be
is
sick.
July what? 14th?
Well, June 23rd.
Oh, the end of this month. I was thinking already into July. Sorry.
June 23rd.
Okay, well, would come up on June 23rd. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next one is the conditional use permits for the 3 existing that we decided we would allow, even though our zoning and ordinances do not allow RVs in that area without an RV park. And that was a conditional use for Sherry Dyke, Steve Levin's, and for the one on Sue Dills, that is her last name Butcher.
And I think you ought to mention their names of each.
Yeah, it was Susan Butcher, Sherry Dykes, that's for her brother, and then
Dwayne.
and what?
Dwayne.
That'd be Dwayne.
Dwayne's. And then I don't know the name of the 2 brothers that are in the Steve Levin's park.
Alonzo.
Alonzo Blackwood.
Yeah, they are there. So, is there a motion for those 3 conditional use permits so we do not remove them?
I'll make a motion. We approve all 3 of those at one time.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I like the way that this is stated. I think this is very fair, that these people are not going to be removed from their homes, but that no resident will be allowed to stay in the RV after this person's gone. I like that.
Okay. Do we vote on that? I guess we've had discussion, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. That motion carries.
And thank you for that.
And the next order of business is, I believe, the 2 tree grants, one for Joe Pasco and one... John Pasco, sorry. I need to look down in the bottom of my glasses so I can read that.
Stood up and looked at it.
Yeah. And Scott Pratt for 2 different tree room jobs. Is there a motion?
I move we approve these two tree grant applications.
To pay up to what, half or $1,000 max?
Yeah, isn't it $1,000 max?
So-
Half.
Half
up to-
or $1,000
Yeah.
max, not over $1,000.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure what you were saying, because both of these are just close just to $1,000, but, so we would pay out 500 or whatever. So there is a motion.
I'll second.
It's seconded. Any discussion on these two?
Yes, I have kind of a general question on our tree grants, and this is kind of a budget question, probably more than anything else. Should we possibly be concerned with planning or placing a cap on the amount of money we spend on tree grants per fiscal year? I know this needs to be taken care of. You don't really want to deny anyone that dangerous trees are dangerous trees.
Well, our history in the past is we have put more money into tree grant applications than we did facade grants.
So can we set a limit on it?
I think our limit is we've never gotten even close to it, so I think what we're doing is,
Even have a limit?
We do not have a limit.
there's not.
We also have to take into account funds in the budget for public works to be able to maintain trees in all of our parks. If we
Mhm.
have to hire, or if there's dangerous limbs that we need to take care of versus the homeowner.
Are these two separate issues, whether we're giving a tree grant to a homeowner versus the public parks taking care of the general public trees?
Yeah, part of the trees along the parkways, along our streets in town, it's our job to take care of them because they're on city property along the parkways. So we do take care of those trees in situations that are in front of somebody's house and stop, so there's not detriment to the public with either the tree itself or branches that need to be removed. So I think we take care of it fine, and I haven't seen an excessive amount of money go out on tree applications, and we spend money every year to take care of the trees in our parks and other places in town, so they're up and safe, and the parks and the town looks nice with taking care of the trees here.
I think the number of applications has definitely, I think word of mouth has gotten out, and we're getting more.
And most of them are
have
actually
in the past.
also asking the county for money from them also, so there's two places to go for it, so.
And I think as long as the applicants follow through and their request fits our guidelines, it's not just to trim up their trees whenever they need, but there is a reason for having to do it, I think.
Safety reason.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's a safety reason.
And if we get to a point where we're really affecting the budget, if we're getting a lot.
And we may have to say that
talk about.
we're not giving any more out that time. We'll just have to watch our budget and what goes against it. So any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for these two tree grant applications. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Too many pictures.
It goes on and on.
On and on. Is Resolution 2025-7, a resolution designating Hilltop Bank as a depository for town funds and authorizing the town treasurer to deposit funds in the depository, whereas the town of Glen Rock has received application from Hilltop Bank to be a depository for town funds, and whereas Hilltop Bank is qualified to act as a depository of town funds as set forth in Section 9-4-817 Wyoming Statute 1997 and amended. And whereas the Hilltop Bank has read the town of Glen Rock's statement of investment policy and statement of compliance has been completed and is on file with the town treasurer. Now therefore be resolved by the governing body of the town of Glen Rock that Hilltop Bank is hereby designated as a depository for town funds, and the town treasurer is authorized to deposit town funds to the extent of such deposits are fully insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or secured by pledge of assets provided by law. Passed and approved the 9th day of June 2025. Is there a motion?
I move that we pass Resolution 2025-7 for Hilltop as our designated depository as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Is this a yearly thing?
Yes. We do that every year for every place we do have a depository.
They're a local bank. I think it's a good idea to back them.
We do it here. We just did the Converse County Bank just not long ago, so we usually try to spread them in all the banks in the area. So yes. So if there any other discussion, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Next one is Resolution 2025-8, a resolution providing for the appropriations of unappropriated surplus funds, whereas it appears that it is necessary for the budget of the town of Glenrock to be amended for the fiscal year January 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025, to take account for certain unappropriated surplus funds. It is therefore hereby resolved by the governing body, the town of Glenrock, Wyoming, as follows: Sewer Fund, account number 242.5710.5791, Sewer Fund, Sewer Department, other equipment vehicles increased by the sum of $616,779.11, the source of which is unappropriated surplus funds. This is specific to the purchase of the 900-EOC 9-yard combination sewer cleaner unit with 9-yard tandem. This fund will be replaced as impact assistance funds are received coming from the Settlers Wind Farm. Passed and approved the 9th day of June 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Oh, sure. He gets up and runs off. I can't.
So do we have any idea when they might give us our impact funds?
The impact funds will start this fall when the Settlers Wind Farm starts on the mountain, and starts in August, and it'll pay out over, I think it's almost a year and a half, 2 years. But we pay for it now, then those funds, as they come back in, will go back into the surplus and into savings for the town.
Oh, nice piece of equipment.
And we needed it.
Yeah, we needed it badly. So it's something that we went after with the impact funds with the Industrial Siting Council, and it was approved along with some monies for our fire department and a few other things. So we've managed to take care of some problems that have arose from impact from all the solar and wind and green energy that has impacted our area. So there is no other discussion. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. I will vote aye. So motion passes, Russ left. Sorry. Okay, the next order of business is I hope you read through them because I'm not going to read them forever. It's the agreement for law enforcement agreement and animal control with the town of Rolling Hills to continue doing this service for the town of Rolling Hills. So is there a motion?
I move that we accept the resolution for the animal control and the law enforcement with Rolling Hills as presented in this document that you aren't going to read.
Going to be here for an hour?
No.
Another hour? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
This
seems
to be the same as last year, pretty much, isn't it? The
Are you
cost?
okay with the numbers that they proposed to us? You didn't read?
It's been a long night. We talked about a lot of different things. Yes.
Yes.
We discussed that. I was at their meeting last week, actually.
Okay.
And this covers your
Added a couple of things.
This covers your cost pretty much, Coulter? Pretty much.
The amount of calls that we have with that.
That's Rolling Hills.
We talked with Jamie a little bit about next year, possibly starting to talk to them about like adding a cost of living percentage to their, that kind of thing, just because obviously our costs do go up every year, so whatever that is, at 5%.
You don't
Discussing that with them in the future.
You don't think that there is a possibility with the possible construction of that solar panel facility up there, that you might have more, they might have more need for you to be in their area?
That doesn't start for 2 years. I think that'll fall under our next one, our next fiscal year, because it doesn't start for 2 years. So it's out there, but it's something that needs to be looked at in the future, yes.
It is something I'll definitely consider, because I believe during the impact fund, they, I don't know if anybody else knows that, I guess, or
No, that's good.
they did ask for impact money, so maybe there's a possibility that they were thinking that could happen, so I can talk to them about that as well.
Would they actually need to hire an officer? Would that be a wise thing to do, or would it be better to stay as our covering their?
When you go to the Industrial Siting Council, the City of Casper, Evansville, and Mill ask for money to add more officers to their force, supposedly for needing them because of the impact to their towns. And they've been asked, are you going to keep this person on after that? And usually it was a no. So I have not seen the Industrial Siting Council fund an additional police officer or animal control officer.
And I can't possibly imagine them funding a new department,
Yeah.
which is what it would actually.
And bar none asked for that.
Uh-huh.
On Cedar Springs 4.
Would be a huge
Mhm.
thing to do.
It's definitely something we'll consider next year when we renegotiate.
We're good to go for this year.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, my turn?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
I just have a question. If I can bring your attention to under 1 services, subsection C. Any law
Which one?
enforcement.
Under law enforcement or animal?
Law enforcement. Any law enforcement personnel assigned to Rolling Hills will present such citations, complaints, affidavits, or other writings necessary to the enforcement and prosecution of any affidavits or any other writings necessary to the enforcement and prosecution of any and all criminal actions within Rolling Hills, period. That doesn't make any sense. Because it doesn't say, it says somebody will present, but it doesn't say to whom this is going to be presented. So that, if somebody could explain to me what that sentence means.
That's to provide that, whatever needs to be written for enforcement or prosecution.
But it doesn't say who they're
To
going
the court.
But it doesn't say that.
I know, but that is
So I-
subjective.
yes.
That's the only place it would go to, would be the court for
And I think what they want it to say is go to the Rolling Hills Municipal Court specifically rather than ours, but it doesn't say that. And I think, granted, this is just a little grammatical thing, or somebody dropped a word out when it's being typed up.
It was typed up by their
Yeah, so
clerk,
maybe,
treasurer, and their council.
yeah, so I would suggest that we ask them to just add who. And I'm thinking that what they want it to say is present to the Rolling Hills Municipal Court. Does that make sense?
Usually the understanding, yes, that's
Yeah.
where all citations and everything else have gone to when they write one
Maybe
in
we
the
could
town
just
of
bring
Rolling
it to their attention that they need to.
You want to
add-
amend the motion to include that?
You made the motion.
No. We seem to have operated fairly successfully in the past. Maybe we should point this out to them, that when they present this next year, they might want to consider that. The motion stands.
Motion stands. That means we can't change the second. So, did our councilman die, or?
He's on the phone out in the hall.
Oh, okay.
He died.
Just want to make sure he's okay. He's been
Oh.
coughing pretty hard.
Call the police. Get the dog.
Get the dog, yeah.
Send the dog out to
Let's
check
call,
on you.
let's call for a vote. All those in favor signify. by-
Before we do that, I just want to ask, Tammy, could you just call them and ask them if they would look at that sentence and explain what they want it to say for future or whatever? Because it's silly to have a sentence in there that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Also opposed by nay. Motion carries.
Sorry, Russ.
Must be something important. Our next order of business is bills and claims. Is there a motion?
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
I move to pay our bills and claims.
There's a motion to pay bills and claims. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on bills and claims?
There was one thing in there that I was really pleased to see, and that is that Mr. Beer is paid money back for some of the platting that he did down there in the Wicked area, the same as we did for the Wickets. I was very, very happy to see that that had been included. That's a very fair thing to do. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Is there anything else this evening to come before this meeting?
I'd like to formally apologize. Apparently my dad needs emergency surgery, so I was giving consent for him to get surgery currently.
It's okay.
Anyway.
We voted for you,
I
Russ.
was
It was
worried
okay.
that you left. I thought, did you die back?
No, I didn't leave.
We were going to send a dog
It's
out.
okay. It's
We were going to
understandable.
send a dog out to find you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Remember, we're going to talk to Kohler after
Yep.
this. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. You want me to turn your turn signal on?
Apparently my dad became septic and is loonier than loony, and he's got gallbladder plugging everything up and needs an ERCP tonight.
Nice.
Yeah. I kept seeing Wyoming Medical Center's phone numbers keep coming up, and I'm like, called 5 times. I better answer that. That's a hospital phone number. Yeah.
Our house the other night, I just happened to look at my phone. It said my apartment. I'm like, we're right here. Somebody else's dog.
Yes, please, thank you, because I got a pencil here.
Yeah,
But it makes my heart.
that's what I usually bring too. Kelly Joyer's that a few times. You'll be bringing your pen.
I'm sure I got one around here someplace, but I don't know where to dig for it, so.
That would be called pen diving.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy what?
Margaret. Get you out of the car.
Okay. Don't run off with my new keyboard.
So what made you jump ship on the ordinance?
Well, Bruce, I think it's fair to allow that one thing. It just seems to me like it's not totally out of line.
I feel it's 100% out of the line because we don't follow our own ordinances. So why do we have them?
And I kind of agree with you just on that. If you're not going to enforce something, don't have it.
Well, we got
And
a lot
we've-
of them we need to get rid of.
Either that or start enforcing.
That's right. One of the two is.
And I mean, it's like defunding the police idea. That doesn't work. What you need to do is grow some backbone, and this is what we've decided, and we're going to stick with it.
What are we doing, Colton?